And at last I see the light. I think I do that every single time I have to use this bloody light. Hey everyone, my name is Jillian and welcome to Frizzbiscuit. Today we're going to do another book review. And the book we're going to be talking about today is The Secret Diary of Lizzie Bennet. For those of you who haven't heard of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, where were you in 2012? The Lizzie Bennet Diaries is basically a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice, and instead of it being in the traditional format of another book or a movie, it's told through a series of vlogs, which is kind of amazing. Now I know what you're thinking, Pride and Prejudice told through vlogs? How would they even do that? That's probably the worst thing ever. However, if that's the opinion you currently have, I would ask you to rethink that thought you thunk. Say that 10 times fast. I know it sounds weird, but it was actually the best thing ever! So the Lizzie Bennet Diaries and its spin-off series ended up running for an entire year, and then just this year they came out with a book! The Secret Diary of Lizzie Bennet is, funnily enough, Lizzie Bennet's diary. It interrelates with the original release dates of all the videos, so it worked really well at expanding on that universe. I loved it so much. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, even though it probably isn't the most phenomenally important book of the entire century that will win every single kind of literary award. But I loved it so much, it was addictive, and I read through it in like a day. I think I only stopped to eat and drink occasionally. It was just so amazing getting to relive the Lizzie Bennet Diaries from an entirely different perspective, and we got to so many missing moments that we didn't get to see before, which basically means we get all the super juicy goss from Lizzie Bennet herself. Like, we get to see more of the interactions between Jane and Bing, and we get to see more of the interactions while they're at Pemberley, especially the walking tour of San Francisco. That, I think, was my favourite part. Oh, and did I mention we get to read about the most awkward dance ever? It was amazing. I actually feel like reading this book I connected to Lizzie a lot more than I did when I was watching the video diaries. As much as her vlog was incredibly amusing and I loved every single second of it, I didn't actually connect personally to Lizzie as a character. I was just more entertained by the antics of her mother and her amazing storytelling and all that jazz. But I feel like the book makes her seem much more relatable, and I think that's because this is supposed to be Lizzie's innermost thoughts. This is her diary that nobody is ever going to read, just her, while on her videos, on the other hand, she's putting on an act. Not that she's deceiving anyone, but when you have a camera pointed at your face and you're publishing it for the world to see, you don't just act like you would at home every day normally. You display a particular facet of your personality that you are putting out to the world. You're not actually representing the entirety of your personality. You get to see more of the girl behind the camera. I do have a couple of small criticisms. This one's on the physical book itself. You see this? This book cover is shorter than the actual book. I don't know why this is a thing that people do now, but I have another book that's also like this. Why is this a thing? I don't like it. I know it's probably for aesthetic reasons and trying to get people to open your book because it's like, oh, you can see a little bit of the inside pages. I guess I'll just like, oh, look, it's pretty inside. I guess I'll keep on reading it. Maybe I'll buy it. But no. The corners are already starting to get a little bit bent, and I've only had this for a couple of weeks. When the functionality is compromised to try and make it more appealing visually, no, please don't. I know there are some books that actually do have the full cover, and I kind of wish I'd bought one of those, but I ordered this one online because I wanted to pre-order it, and they didn't have it for pre-order at my bookshop, and then I got this one, and it's a little bit sad. It's still pretty though, I still like it, but just please give me a full book cover, man. Please do it. The other thing is that there's a couple of episodes of the video diaries that they have the transcripts posted in there, and I kind of didn't like that very much. It happens a couple of times, and it tends to be those episodes where something particularly exciting has happened on camera. And even though all those episodes were amazing and don't really need to be expanded upon, it kind of felt weird just having this transcript of the things that have been said on the video. Even though it kind of makes sense for Lizzie to just go, this happened on camera, I'll print out a transcript. I don't need to write out the entire thing from my perspective. And though it makes sense for that to have happened, I still would have liked to have had those scenes narrated from Lizzie's point of view. I also really want to get the audiobook because it's actually narrated by Ashley Clements, who plays Lizzie Bennet, so you'd actually get everything read to you in Lizzie Bennet's voice. And they're having a sequel come out at some point narrated from Lydia Bennet's point of view. I really hope it takes place after the events of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, because if I hear one particular character say peach again, I might end up ripping the book in half and punching someone in the face. The other thing that made me really excited is that there's a whole list of discussion questions at the back of the book. I got so excited by the prospect of discussion questions that I let out an audible gasp, and my sister was like, "What's wrong, Jillian?" I was like, "There are discussion questions." So maybe in a later video I'll go through a few of those because they're quite interesting. Okay, wrapping up. This is an amazing book if you've seen the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. I even know that there's a couple of people on Goodreads who had never heard of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries and read the book first, and they really liked it, and then that got them into watching the web series. If you haven't seen the Lizzie Bennet Diaries and you've read this book, let me know down below if you liked it and what your impression of the book was, and if you felt that having transcripts of the video subtracted from your experience not having seen the videos themselves. And let's just get a general discussion going in the comments if you so wish, discussing the Lizzie Bennet Diary, the Secret Diary of Lizzie Bennet, and Pride and Prejudice, and how it compared and what you thought of the book in general. And I think I've rambled on for long enough, so that's all folks, bye! We predominantly talk about romantic love, which is kind of a shame because no matter who it's between or what the relationship is, love is kind of amazing and we should talk about it more. My voice was really super deep, so I was singing Misty Mountain a lot. Thor and Oakenshield, I can do this stuff now because I have a super manly voice.